My cop brother abused his power because he knew he could get away with it, so I showed him what being on the receiving end feels like. My older brother has always been obsessed with having authority and making people submit to him. Whether it was bullying kids 3 to 4 years younger than him or scaring animals just because he could, he craved the feeling of power. So it's no surprise that when Gary became a cop, he was anything but fair. He's taken down a kid's lemonade stand because the kid didn't have a selling license. Didn't matter that the kid was raising money for his dog's cancer surgery. He's arrested a 90-year-old lady for crossing the road too slowly. The light was green when she started walking. It only turned red when she had almost crossed. He's pulled fathers over with their kids in the car and made up laws on which to cite them, just so the dads could beg him to let them go. Also, he could feel powerful and humiliate a dad in front of his child. The worst part about it was how nothing could be done. Not only was he a cop, but the head of his department was Hughes. They had been good friends since high school, meaning if anyone ever had a complaint about Gary, it went to Hughes, who tossed it out. I thought nothing could be done to Gary, until 3 months ago when he showed up at our house Friday night. I didn't really want to hang with him, but he said he missed his younger bro and had life updates. While at my house, we started drinking. We ran out in the fridge, and I decided to go out to my car and grab the 2 remaining beers in the cooler. And that's when it happened. I came back inside the house not even 2 minutes later and heard my wife Maddie saying, "Stop," in this scared voice. My blood froze. I rushed to the kitchen where her voice was coming from, and that's when I saw it. Gary was drunkenly pinning her against the counter. His hand was traveling up her shirt. She was trying to push him away, but he was overpowering her and had his head placed against her neck. I remember seeing red. I dropped the cooler and just tackled him. I knocked him hard across the face. He fell down, and I proceeded to get on top of him. Unfortunately for me, he's a cop. He has physical training. He's also a lot bigger than me. So as hard as I tried to restrain him, it didn't work. He pulled me down too, before getting up to his knees and pressing them into my head. My nose hit the tiles pretty hard and started bleeding. Before I knew it, my arm was being twisted behind my back. He said he was arresting me for assaulting an officer. He then pulled out his handcuffs and cuffed me. Yeah, dude is so power hungry he carries handcuffs everywhere. I remember my wife went to lunge at him to make him stop, but he just flashed her this creepy smile and pointed at the concealed weapon he carried, making her back off. He called an on-duty officer, and they took me to the station, where Hughes personally processed me. They both sat across from me, shaking their heads. Assaulting an officer. That's up to 8 years you're looking at. Gary could easily seduce that wife of yours in that amount of time. Every part of me wanted to do something to get me 25 life in that moment, but I held out. I knew they wouldn't press charges. I was Gary's brother after all, meaning this was just a warning. As expected, they let me go after making some threats, but only after also holding me in a jail cell for 48 hours to make sure I learned my lesson. Gary personally opened the cell and let me out. I remember going straight home, dead set on just never talking to him again. Unfortunately, when I came home, I realized that was not an option. I found Maddie curled up in our bed, not really moving or saying much, just looking depressed and traumatized. She had a fresh bruise on her neck, and when I got into bed to hug her, she instinctively pushed me away. I held her hand from a distance, and that's when she started just sobbing. It took me almost an hour to get the story out. Turns out Gary came back to this house. He did it right after placing me in the cell. My wife opened the door thinking it was me, and Gary barged his way in. He had his way with her all night, not leaving till he was fully satisfied. Something inside me just went cold and quiet. I comforted my wife and spent the next 3 months playing the broken brother. I didn't go to family events, didn't reach out, just acted like I accepted what happened, but I didn't. You see, I knew Gary, and I knew that every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., he went on this one specific 5-mile trail run. I waited more than long enough to make him feel safe, and then this one Tuesday I got up at 4 a.m., kissed Maddie's sleeping forehead, got dressed in black clothes, and headed out. I brought my aluminum bat with me. I ended up at this one particularly dark, sharp turn spot in the trail 40 minutes later. I knew Gary would go by here. I waited, and sure enough, at 5:30 a.m., he turned the corner. I didn't waste time. I jumped out, saw him instinctively freak out, and without even giving him a chance to explain, I swung my bat at his kneecap as hard as I could. The crack sounded brutal. I even winced in secondhand pain. Gary screamed and went down clutching his leg. That's when, while he was screaming, I bent down over him and pulled off my mask. Hi, Gary. Full story on channel, linked below.